Hello and welcome to T-Levels. This is the next best thing, and we're really glad that you've all signed in to join us this evening. Just to let you know that if you've got any questions as we go through, you can put them in the question and answer box and we will answer them at the end of the presentation. If you do get any technical problems, do let us know in the chat box and the team will try and help you. This presentation will also be recorded and available on our website, just in case you want to go back and have another little look. We're just waiting for a few more people to join us, and then we will get started. Okay, I think that we'll just give it another few seconds, and then we will begin the presentation. Okay, I think we should start. So again, welcome to T-Levels. Today we're going to be introducing you to the next level of qualification being offered here at Chichester College. Presenting to you today will be James Waters, the T-Level Development Manager, and myself, Sarah Wood, one of the Industry Placement Officers here at Chichester College. Next slide, please. So during the presentation, we will be informing you about what are T-levels and how they are structured, who are T-levels for, the level 3 choices and progression opportunities, the transition programs, and the rollout of T-levels. Next slide, please. Here are just a few pictures of our new students this year doing construction and digital T-levels. And as you can see, they're already getting stuck in and learning new skills. Next slide, and over to James.
Thank you very much indeed, Sarah. Good evening, everyone. So what are T-levels? T-levels are new 2-year technical qualifications which have been designed with employers to give you the skills you need to progress into an occupation you'd like to specialise in. They have been developed as an alternative to A-levels and will give you the experience that you need of the workplace, and we've done this by combining classroom study, practical learning and an industry placement, which will be a minimum of 45 days. So as you can see there on the slide, T-levels are full-time courses. There's 80% of the time that will be spent in the classroom and 20% of the time that will be spent in the workplace with the employer. These qualifications have been developed in collaboration with employers and businesses, so you can be assured that they will give you the knowledge and skills that will prepare you for the world of work. With the experience that you gain from your industry placement, this will help you when applying for future opportunities to start your career. In terms of the actual structure of a T-level, the T-level courses will include the following compulsory elements. So if you look at that technical qualification box at the top, the TQ actually includes the core theory, concepts and skills for an industry area, the specialist skills and knowledge for an occupational career, as I said, an industry placement with an employer, and there will be English, maths and digital skills embedded throughout the qualification as well. Next slide, please, and over to Sarah.
Thanks, James. So what is an industry placement? So an industry placement is an external, working with an external employer, and it is a compulsory part of the T-level. This will focus on developing your practical and technical skills required for your chosen occupation, along with the essential employability skills that you can only get from being out in the workplace. So how long is an industry placement? Your industry placement must last for 45 days, and this can be either a block of time in the industry, or day release, or a mixture of these. So what can we include in an industry placement? So we can include up to 1 week of work tasters, visits to external employers. We can also use your part-time job as long as it is directly related to the course that you are studying and that your employer agrees. You will be allocated an industry placement officer, such as myself, and we will be there to support you with every aspect of your placement. from finding your placement to preparing you with the skills that you need to go out into the real world of work. Prior to your placement, we will meet so everybody knows what the expectations are and clearly outlining your learning objectives. You'll be monitored and supported throughout your placement, and we'll have a midpoint review and an endpoint review to ensure that your employability skills and your learning skills objectives are met. This will also give us a chance to check on your well-being and to make sure that you're not being overworked and that you're happy in your placement. It will also give the employer a chance to raise any concerns that they may have. This is especially important if you're on a block placement and you haven't been in college for a while. It just helps us to come in and check how things are going. Next slide, please, and over to James.
Thank you very much, Sarah. So now I've given you a little bit of an insight into the structure of a T-level and what it actually is. Now I just want to talk a little bit about grading and certification. So for those who complete their T-level, you will receive a nationally recognised certificate which will show your overall grade and the breakdown of what you've achieved. The actual certificate itself will include an overall grade for the T-level, and that will be shown as pass, merit, distinction or distinction star. There will be a separate grade for the core component. So as you can see there at the top of the screen, that is graded from A star to E, and that also includes the employer set project. There will be a separate grade for the occupational specialism. So for example, students that have picked construction this year, they will then go on to specialise in design, surveying and planning, and there'll be a grade, either pass, merit or distinction for that particular section of the qualification. The minimum requirements for maths and English, as I said earlier, they will be embedded throughout the qualification. Obviously, you've got to complete your industry placement, and your overall T-level grade will be worked out from the grades you've achieved on the core and the occupational specialism. Those who do not pass all elements of their T-level will be issued a statement of achievement, which will show the elements that they have completed. I'm now going to hand over to Sarah for the next slide, please.
Thanks, James. So this year at Chichester College, we launched our first T-levels, and this September we launched a T-level in design, surveying and planning for construction, T-level in digital production, design and development, and also a T-level in education and childcare. The entry requirements for all of the T-levels is a minimum of 5 GCSEs, including maths and English, grades 9 to 4. Next slide, please. So who are T-levels for? T-levels are for everyone who's got the entry requirements. But in particular, if you are aspiring to achieve an advanced level of technical excellence in your chosen career, or if you value the opportunity to develop your skills and knowledge both in the classroom and out in the work placement, and are keen to start experiencing the world of work to develop your employability skills, then T-level is for you. Over to James. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Sarah. So now we're going to take a look at how level 3 choices and progression opportunities are available to you. So T-levels will become one of the main choices for you after your GCSEs, and these sit alongside apprenticeships for those who wish to learn a specific occupation on the job. And then we've got A-levels for those who wish to continue an academic education. T-levels are a technical qualification with 80% in the classroom and 20% in the workplace, as I said earlier. And we also have UCAS tariff points as well. So there will be several progression opportunities as we come to the bottom of the slide, and these would typically include skilled employment, an apprenticeship and higher education. And as I said about UCAS points, the T-levels are there to help progress students into HE. So UCAS tariff points will be allocated to T-level graduates. UCAS points will only be allocated to the overall T-level grade, and you must achieve at least an overall pass to receive UCAS points. If you wish to follow any of these options, then we would recommend that you speak to your school careers advisors and teachers about getting the support you need to get the grades required to study at level 3. Next slide, please. And I just want to kind of show you at a glance how the UCAS points are calculated. So we've got the standard tariff points there on the left. We've got the breakdown of T-level grades as an overall grade for the qualification from distinction star to pass. And then I thought it'd be good to give you a comparison with A-levels. So although T-levels are built on the same standard as apprenticeships, they are the same as doing 3 A-levels. So if you pick one T-level and you get a distinction grade overall, that will be the same as studying 3 A-levels for 2 years and coming out with 3 A's. So for me, you know, it's a great choice. It will give you the same challenges as A-level, but obviously the key differential is around the industry placement. Next slide, please. Now we've given you an insight into T-levels, I also want to talk a little bit about our transition programme. So for those who want to study a T-level but currently don't have the entry requirements, you can actually enrol on a 1-year course which will focus on the following 5 core components. So transition programs are essentially level 2, and you will obviously go through a diagnostic and guidance period. We want to make sure we assess your capability and support needs in order to tailor the transition program to address those needs. There will obviously be English and maths requirements, so predominantly those that don't have GCSE grade 4 in English and or maths will obviously have extra timetabled slots delivered by your teachers to help you achieve and progress onto the T-level. There will also be work experience and preparation for the T-level. So we really want to develop your skills, behaviours, attitudes and confidence, and that will be a key requirement as you progress onto the T-level and do the industry placement. Another key difference between standard level 2 courses and the transition programme is the introductory technical skills. So we want to give you a flavour as to what's included topic-wise in the T-level at transition. So we've got your interest, and it will give you the basic concepts of the subject matter to really help prepare you for that progression into the T-level. And we have pastoral support and personal development included in the programme as well. And it's really to help you to address any barriers that you may have within further education, any mental health difficulties, and just really supporting the development of study skills. That's going to be a real key element where we've got exams in the T-level. It's obviously really important that we help you to develop your exam technique and those reflective and resilient skills as well. Next slide, please. So now I just want to share with you the national rollout of T-levels. So we've already talked about the courses that we've launched here at CCG, and that is what is currently available from September 2020. We've now started our development around what will be available from September 21. So we'll have all of the construction courses available. We'll have 2 digital courses available, so digital support services and digital production design and development. We'll also have the health and science courses that will be available in addition to education and childcare. When we get to September 2022, they will be opening up all of the business and engineering courses. We've expressed an interest in doing all of these, so they will be becoming available at that earliest point. And then finally, the last stage of the rollout will be September 23. It's not that far away, but we will have all of our land-based, creative and service industry subjects available as well. Next slide, please. So what will be available at Chichester College Group from September 21? So what we've done here is we've highlighted a key for those wishing to come study at Chichester College in blue. So you can see there all of the courses under construction, digital, education and health and science that will be available for you. Applications are due to open next week, and you know these will be subject to change, but you know my recommendation would be to keep an eye on our individual websites for any updates. Next slide, please. Thank you very much indeed for your time this evening. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Next slide, please. Now we'd like to open the floor for any questions that you might have. I'm going to leave this slide up now just so that you've got our names and contact email addresses as well. We've got a generic T-level email address, so if you have got any burning questions that you'd like to ask that perhaps you don't ask during this evening's event, you're very welcome to email us, and we'll obviously be in touch to get back to you as soon as possible.
Lovely. So we've had quite a few questions come in for you. So I'll start off with some of the more generic ones, some of which might have come up during the presentation, but just to reiterate for people. Is there an age limit on T-levels?
Excellent question. At the moment, there is an age limit. So these courses are typically for those aged 16 to 19. So they are government funded for students in that age bracket. There are discussions at the moment for those wishing to study T-levels as an adult learner. Currently the funding isn't available, but those discussions are underway, and we may well have that as part of our offer in the very near future. And again, any updates on that will be reflected in our college websites.
Perfect, thank you. Another one here, we've got, will I be paid for my placement?
I'm going to let Sarah answer that question.
So employers do not have to pay you for your placement. However, we're talking to employers all the time, and one of the questions we ask is, would they pay you? And I have to say quite a few of them are saying they will, but they don't have to. We do also speak to them about covering travel expenses as well. So just thought I'd add that bit of information in for you as well.
Lovely. Echoing that with sort of finances and bits and pieces like that, we've also got a question that says, do I need to buy any equipment?
Another really good question there. To be honest with you, it's a yes and no answer. There will be, it very much depend on the course that you study. So there will be obviously instructions, you know, obviously they'll be discussed at interview if you're interested in applying for the course with the course leader, and they'll outline any equipment that you may need to purchase. Obviously we do our very best to make sure that we support as much as possible. We also have a learning support grant that is, you know, that anybody can apply for. Obviously there's some terms in there that you need to check. It's based on household income, but you know, obviously that process is to ensure that all learners are supported financially. You know, it might be travel, logistics, it might be PPE, you know, anything like that, you know, we're always keen to help with. And obviously, you know, we look at things on a case by case basis as well. So that detail will certainly be discussed at interview if you're keen to apply from next week, and we'll do our very best to give you what you need.
Amazing, thank you. Can I mix and match T-levels with A-levels?
Another really good question. The simple answer to that is no. Doing one T-level is the equivalent of studying 3 A-levels. So it'll be a full-time course. You'll be timetabled in every day. You'll have enough to be getting on with, you know, in terms of delivery in the classroom. And obviously, if you're not in the classroom, you'll be out in the workplace of the employer. And there'll be elements there that you'll be working, you know, remotely, potentially, and obviously there'll be some elements as well where you'll have that independent self-study as well, where, you know, some of the work is, you know, obviously it's at level 3, you'll be required to be doing, you know, research. You know, there's going to be aspects of the course where you'll be doing some project management. So, you know, we're really going to be preparing you for, as I said, you know, those progression pathways. You know, students that, you know, do want to go on to HE, you know, the T-levels will equip you not only to work at that level, but the entry criteria is currently being developed in collaboration with UCAS, and local universities are on board with it. And, you know, we've got a number of Russell groups as well that are really keen to, you know, work with providers to ensure that, you know, students can go on and study at that level.
Perfect. Probably echoing that again is another question that says, what's the difference between T-levels and apprenticeships?
It's a really good question. The main differential between a T-level is the fact, and apprenticeship is the fact that you are in full-time education. So although there is 20% of the time, so it's 45 days of the 2 years that you're in a placement, you know, there's 80% of that time when you're in college, or you're being taught remotely. With an apprenticeship, you are essentially employed to do a job. You're ready to enter the workforce at age 16. You're getting paid. You're spending 80% of your time in the workplace, and you're only spending, you know, 1 day a week in college. So, you know, it's another choice at 16 for you alongside A levels as well. So I think the most important thing there is, if you know exactly what it is you want to do as an occupation, it might be that an apprenticeship is the best option. If you have an idea what you want to do, but you don't necessarily know what you want to specialise in, then T-levels would be a good option. If you really like the idea of being in college all the time and not doing anything out in the workplace, then A-levels would probably be the best option for you. So it really is maybe looking at having a conversation with your careers advisor to get that information, advice and guidance to make an informed decision on the right option for you.
That's perfect, thank you. Another one here, we've got, will T-levels replace BTEX?
It's a really good question. The simple answer is it will replace a number of vocational courses, and I think the rationale behind that is just simply to streamline further education courses, to make it simpler for students, parents, staff and employers to understand. So as you saw earlier in my presentation, you know, what we're essentially doing there is to have A levels, T levels and apprenticeships, but vocational courses will still exist. But that it's really to address the skills shortage that there is in the industry. So the first three that we've started with is where the greatest skill shortage is at the moment. And obviously the qualifications have been developed in collaboration with employers as well. So it really is addressing what the industry needs and making sure that students have the skills that they need to not only get a career in that sector, but be really successful in it as well. And unfortunately, some of our options at level 2 and level 3 aren't necessarily enabling that. And, you know, we have to make decisions, and that's going to take a number of years until that is fully integrated and established, for that to be in place. But there will always be level 1 vocational courses. We have foundation programs as well. There will be level 2 and level 3 courses that will remain. I'm just thinking of some immediate examples, such as sport and public services. You probably noticed wasn't in the national rollout of T levels. You know, so it is just keeping an eye on any developments, and again, you know, our websites will reflect that information.
That's great, thank you. Quite a few people have asked this question. Can you provide support when looking for a placement? Do you provide the placement?
I'll let Sarah answer that question.
Yes, absolutely. That's what my role is, to support you finding an employer. Because I did notice someone saying, would I help you settle into your industry placement? Again, that is also part of my role, to go out with you to placement, to meet your employer, to make sure you're comfortable, you know what's expected of you. I would come out another 2 times at least, to make sure everything is going as planned. Also, throughout your industry placement, I'm here if you do come up with any issues or you've got any worries. So although we say we come out 3 times, that's not limited. We are available to you throughout your placement. And we do get you to think about where you'd like to go, and if there's any employers you'd like us to contact, because obviously placement that works for you, that you're happy with, and we'll support you all the way through.
Great. Great, thank you. I've got quite a specific question here. If I take a T-level in education and childcare, does that limit my opportunities if I want to go to university and study something else? I.e., how does the university look at a T-level?
Really good question. I think if you decide to pick education and childcare, there are two specialisms there. You know, essentially, if you want to, you know, you will get your license to practice, so you can obviously work in an early years industry, but also if you wanted to work in the school environment as well, and that is very much where you get to decide, you know, what occupational specialism you'd like to specialise in. I think it's really making sure that you do your research before you put in your application. But you know, I'd highly recommend speaking to your careers advisors at school. It's questions that you can ask the subject teachers when you know, obviously if you put in an application and have an interview. But for me, you know, it's making sure it's the right course for you, and then once you've picked that course, you're committing to, you know, essentially being in that industry as a career as well. So it's really making sure that you understand the program and that you're happy with what you're going to be studying. And you know, ultimately a lot of our learners will be applying to university as well. You know, and there will be a number of students that are going on to skilled employment, and some that will look to do an apprenticeship. So there's going to be a variety of progression. But for me, it's just making sure, you know, at 16, 17, you know, you're happy, you know, with the choice that you make. And you know, we'll be here as well to help you. We've got a dedicated career service that will help you if you decide T levels is for you and you want to enrol on the study program. You know, we help students to research into, you know, university and how to conduct yourself when having conversations with admissions at university, how to write a personal statement, that kind of stuff. So we've got, you know, a dedicated service here to support you as well.
Thank you very much. I've got a couple of questions here that I think would go quite nicely hand in hand. So we've got, can I take a T-level as a mature student? And at the end of the course, is there help with finding full-time employment in your trades and subject area?
Yes, is a simple answer to that question. You know, for me, if a student wants to progress from T-level straight into skilled employment, that is a fantastic progression. You know, I'm just thinking of a prime example. You're working with an employer on your industry placement. They may be really impressed with how you've performed in the workplace, and they would actually like to take you on at entry level. And to be honest with you, that's a great way in to employment. You know, some of the starting salaries and the training opportunities and progression within certain companies, you know, it's a really good foot in the door. How you work with the employer during your placement. You know, so obviously it might well be that the employer says, you know, on completion of your placement and, you know, subject to, you know, a certain grade on your T level and performance in the workplace, that they'd offer you a job. So that will be a really good way in. But if, you know, you want to go straight into employment and you don't get that opportunity, again, we've got a career service here that can help you. You know, even if it's things like putting together a CV, helping to prepare you for interviews. We can do mock interviews. And I think as well, you know, looking at the types of jobs that are available and helping with that application process. You know, and obviously if you do decide to pick a T level, you can be assured that, you know, through going through the process with certain employers, you know, they'll be looking to interview you for an industry placement potentially. So that'll be good experience, and having, you know, interview questions put to you, and, you know, really having that confidence when you put in those situations. So there's lots of opportunities, and for me, it's just embracing them. And, you know, it's a journey, and we really want you to have a good experience with us at Chichester College.
Great. I think we have time for a couple more questions, so I'm just going to pick some last ones here. This one's more specific again. So if I want to do criminology, could I choose T levels? What about medical science?
That is an excellent question, very specific indeed. For me, the simple answer to that is we have a recruitment process at the moment for teaching staff. So, you know, obviously we're looking to deliver science transition next year with T-levels in science starting in September 2022. Once we've got the staff in post, we'll be working with them to develop how that looks. The person that I've got is already the lead on forensic and medical science as vocational courses. So we'll be looking to have an equivalent for T-levels as well. And the main difference there is the industry placement, you know, getting that experience in the workplace in those types of settings, you know, linked to, you know, the industry is going to be really advantageous. You know, having a reference from an employer in that field, to have that on your CV and future job applications, or, you know, if you're looking to apply for apprenticeship or university, it's going to be really favourable for you to have that. And, you know, what a way to get it through an industry placement on a T-level.
Thank you for that. I'm just going to finish off with one last question and then I'll let you wrap up. Can I still do the work placement due to the current circumstances surrounding COVID-19?
Sarah, I'm going to let you answer that one if you like.
Yeah, so obviously, you know, primarily we want to keep you safe, and we will still be doing industry placements, but we will be ensuring that it is COVID safe for you, as it is here at the college for you. Most of our placements won't start this side of Christmas, so next September, when we're looking at you joining us, we would hopefully be in a position where, again, we will start those industry placements as soon as it is safe to do so. You do have 2 years to complete your 45-day industry placement, and it doesn't have to all be done straight away. We want to develop the skills and your confidence before we put you out there in the workplace. But yes, I assure you, you can do your work placement during COVID, and we will make sure that you are safe to do so.
Brilliant. So that concludes our event this evening. I just want to say a massive thank you to all of you for your time this evening. I hope that we've answered all of your questions. We have got our contact details on the slide just here. If you want to email us, you're very welcome to do so. Please take care. Have a great evening, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Bye for now.
Bye.